help your child realize that these changes are happening.
Yeah.
And I think
way ahead of time. Yes.
Yeah, way ahead of time. And I think one of the best ways you can advocate and teach your child to self-advocate is to have them become familiar with the rule changes that they're going to experience. I think that's number one, because when they get into a new situation and they have a problem and they have to solve their problem, what do? How are they going to solve the problem?
Right.
You just can't scream at the professor and assume everything's going to be okay. You can't just get into a fight with another kid in your class and assume they're not going to call the police.
Right.
That's not how it works. I've had that happen. So it's a funny story for another day. But yeah, it's not high school anymore. So the rules are changing. The rules are different.
Yeah.
And so the best thing you could do as you're preparing is be there with your child to learn that. So that when the self-advocacy switches over to them, just like in the definition, learn how to get information, find out who's going to support you, know your rights and responsibilities, figure out how to problem solve, figure out how to deal with a professor who is doing something you don't like.
Right. Exactly.
So,
yeah, I had shared with Mickie ahead of time the broadcast that my son had to do that. He chose not to be diagnosed, and he got some grades that were not agreeable, and he knew that they weren't fair, and ended up having to advocate for himself up to the dean of the college and to get those changed. But it is a different process.
It is a very different process. Yeah. And I didn't say this earlier, but actually what your son was going through and what you've experienced is not atypical. That's very typical. Kids, I kind of look at college as the great equalizer. When you're going into college, nobody knows if you have a disability or not.
Right.
They just don't know. And unless it's something physical that they can see, if it's something other, whether it's autism or an emotional disability or learning disability or whatever it happens to be, they don't know. Even the professors don't know. The professors do not see your documentation. They do not know your diagnosis unless you choose to tell them. There's a lot of, rules, and know the policies and know the procedures.